Alright, we are loading our ball trays up. This particular unit takes 5 balls per compartment on the ball trays. So 5 balls will go in this compartment, 5 balls will go in this compartment, and 5 balls will go in this compartment, and so on. Okay, you can see a loaded ball tray here. We've loaded them up with 5 balls per compartment. We've loaded this machine with brand new balls for maximum life and durability.
Here you can see the ball tray slot. You will note that it is wider than the screen slot. The screen slot can also be identified with the screen seal material here.
Alright, you can see us loading the ball trays here. It's important to keep these level when you load them so you don't have any balls bounce out and you have to chase them around. The ball tray itself goes in the taller ball tray track. You can see it on the bottom there. Okay, we've got one ball tray in. We've also got a screen in. Now we are leaving them closer to the outside so it's easier to put the next ball tray in and then make the lip overlap of the second screen. So this seals up properly and they all go in. Okay, we're about to load the second screen in here to demonstrate that it is imperative to get this lip to overlap properly onto the other screen in front of it. Another thing to consider so you don't load this machine in properly is that the lip that overlaps onto the next screen should follow the flow of grain off of the screen. Alright, we're loading the second ball tray in that goes up underneath of this screen. You can see us pushing it in here. Now you push the entire set forward in about 6 inches and then load the next set. Alright, now that we've loaded all the ball trays, all of the lips are overlapping onto the back of the screen. We're ready to push in the last set of screens into the bottom screen track of the bottom shoe. Now we're going to lock in the pistol grips on the ball trays and then the screen. Okay, we've loaded the bottom set of screens here. You got your ball trays in down there. We put in the 7.5 inch blank. This piece would be put on after this. However, before we can put that piece in, we have to have this blank set put in. So that's what we're going to do now. You can see here we're loading the set of blanks in now. Again, it is imperative that you get this lip to overlap onto the back of the other screen. Alright, we've got all 3 of these in position. We made sure that the steel is overlapping. A nice trick is you can stick your hand up and underneath of there and feel that the cross member slats are up against one another. Okay, we've got the 3 larger blanks in, all of the lips are overlapping, and then you also use the 7.5 inch spreader blank here. Putting all of these components in will complete the second pan of the bottom shoe. For ease of installation on all of the other screens, we are going to leave these tail end components out until last. These 2 components, this blank right here, would go in first, and then this spreader trough would then go in last. But to make it easier so we don't have to fight this spreader trough, we're going to leave this out until last. Alright, we are loading the middle screen of the bottom shoe with the first screen and the first ball tray. Alright, we've just finished loading all of the screens into the middle screen of the bottom shoe path. You can see here the middle set of screens in the bottom shoe have a 7-inch blank up front. So you would put your 7-inch blank first, and then you would start loading your screens in. Alright, now that we've loaded all the middle screens in the bottom shoe here with the ball trays, we're on to the spreader blanks. This is the last set of spreader blanks we'll need to put in. We've got the first one in here. You can see it there. Okay, we put in the last larger piece of the spreader blank. Now we need to load in our 7.5 incher. There we go. Alright, and that piece is in too. Now we just need to latch in our pistol grips, and we're ready to load the last screen of the bottom shoe. Okay, we are loading the last set of screens and ball trays into the top screen of the bottom shoe. It is imperative that before you load any screens, you have the 8-inch blank up front. So now, after we've gotten all of our ball trays in place, it's time to slide the screens in. Alright, we've got all of the screens put in the top screen track of the bottom shoe. Everything is overlapping and everything is installed properly. We're ready to put the end pieces on. Alright, we've got all the pistol grips locked in place. Now what we're going to do is install the components to the bottom set of screens, then the middle, and then the top.
Okay, now we are putting in the blank for the middle screen of the bottom shoe. This is a 7.5-inch blank. Slides in with the lip overlapping the screen. Okay, now we have the 1/3 splitter installed in the top screen rail of the bottom shoe. Now we are going to install the 50/50 splitter in the middle screen of the bottom shoe. Okay, we have our first spreader blank in. This is a 1/3 spreader blank. It goes in the top. This will take 1/3 of the product and introduce it on top of the top screen. Now we are going to install the 50/50 splitter right below it. It goes right under this trough. Okay, now we have the 50/50 splitter installed. Now we are going to install the bottom screen spreader blank into this track. Okay, this will conclude the loading of the bottom shoe. We have our 1/3 spreader blank on the top. We have our 50/50 spreader blank in the middle. That splits the flow between the middle screen and the bottom screen. And we have our plain spreader blank on the bottom. Now we are going to move on to the top shoe. Okay, now we are looking at the top shoe bottom screen. The first thing we are going to do is load the ball trays. There's a 7.5-inch blank that slides in all the way to the front, in front of all 3 ball trays. We have the bottom screen ball trays installed with 5 balls per compartment. Now we are going to start sliding in the 14 round screens, and there is a spreader blank at the top. We will go over this in detail now. Okay, we have our 7.5-inch spreader blank installed. Now we are going to slide in the screens, making sure that the lip is always overlapping with the flow of grain. Okay, we now have our 11.5-inch blank to finish the bottom screen of the top shoe. 5 balls per compartment. Made sure that all the lips were overlapping with the flow of the grain. Now we are going to put in our carrier pans in this slot here, all the way up to those far stops. The carrier pan will carry the scalpings from the top screen out to the tailgate. Okay, we have our first 18-inch carrier pan. It has the lip on the top installed. Now we are going to install two 26-inch carrier pans, being sure that the lips overlap. Now we are going to install our 9-inch blank. This will complete the carrier pan, and we are on to the last set of ball trays and the last set of screens. Okay, we have our pistol grips locked in with the carrier pan. Now we are installing our 7.5-inch blank for the front of the ball trays. After this blank, we will slide 3 ball trays into the large groove here. We have finished sliding in the 3 ball trays in the top shoe, top screen slot. We now have our carrier blank. This piece carries the scalpings into the tailgate chute and is locked in front of the top screen ball tray set. Now we are sliding in the top and final set of screens. Our ball trays are locked in. The top screen has a 50-50 spreader, which will cut the product in half. 50% of the product will go on this screen, 50% will fall through onto the bottom scalp screen. Before you slide the screens in, you have to add a 7.5-inch spreader blank. Now we are going to slide in the third and final screen and lock down the screens with the pistol grips. We have our top screen fully installed, pistol grips locked down on both sides, the scalpings carrier pan installed. Now we are going to install the tailgate. It has these great alignment pins for ease of installation. I'm going to show you it installed and clamped down. Now you are ready to run your Clipper 568 new gen. Here you can see the lip of the scalpings carrier pan is over the scalping chute on the tailgate. The tailgate fully installed. Here is the proper installation from the side view. You can see the locating pins here. It helps you to line it up when you're sliding the tailgate on. This cleaner is now set up for a scalp operation in the top shoe and a sift in the bottom shoe, with all of the proper splitters in the proper places as talked about in this video.